Yeah, so this is gonna be a super short video. I'm gonna do a much longer video on when we actually get to the CTMU material on linguistics and how reality configures itself as a meta language, as a higher order language. I'm just gonna talk about briefly Noam Chomsky's theory of transformational grammar and how that, or generative grammar, and how that relates to the CTMU model of meta language. So Chomsky kind of describes language and form in terms of transformations applied to an underlying deep structure in order to generate the kind of surface structure of sentences which can actually occur. It's a type of grammar which describes kind of a language in terms of a set of logical rules, so that's the structure, formulated so as to be capable of generating an infinite number of possible sentences and providing them with the correct structural description. So we'll go over two words, the syntax and semantics. So syntax is a set of rules for the arrangement of words and phrases in a language, and then semantics are the meaning of a word, phrase, sentence, or text. So that's the grammar and the words. So syntax is the invariance of a language. Grammar and the semantics are the variants. Semantics are the words. So this is then generalized to the meta language of the CTMU. So the CTMU suggests that reality is a self-referential, self-contained system that is kind of fundamentally tied almost to language. That it's that the logos, which is how the universe self-models, is almost like an unvocalized language, which is kind of a generalization of the various particular languages, and the universe actually shares the structure of the various particular languages. This means that all structures and processes of reality can be described and understood through language. And vice versa, that language can be understood through the structures and processes of reality. Because if you think about what you're doing when you're speaking, you're actually identifying a thing in reality. So this is tied to the beginning of the Gospel of John 1:1, which says, "In the beginning was the Word, the Logos, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." So the reality, or God, configures himself as a meta language to generate the universe. So the mapping from language to universe is that God has a certain generic syntax, the rules of logic, teleology, physics, etc., which are sufficient to generate but not to determine reality. And then human beings are creation, which are kind of the surface level transformations on the deep structure is creation. Kind of select the timelines generated by God. So this is called telic recursion, which is like causation for a purpose, and complete the causation by collapsing potentials into states. So the CTMU in this respect is essentially a higher order, a meta application of Chomsky's theory of language to reality itself. So in the Song of Songs, the union by King Solomon, the union between God and Israel, which is symbolic of the union between God and humanity, is symbolized by a sexual relation, the process of generating and actualizing events which are consistent with God's structure, which is actually the technical definition of the goods. This is why Rabbi Akiva called the Song of Songs the Holy of Holies in the Bible, more so than even the various other books. That God as lover is that which completes causation, and then also the triunity between syntax, semantics, and language. So language is that which is the boundary between syntax and semantics, and it's also the boundary containing syntax and semantics. So it's both within and beyond its structures and words. But that's generalized in Christian metaphysics, which is compatible with CTMU, to creator, creation, and creativity, or lover, beloved, and love, or Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So this is expressed in Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel's book, which we're going to do a series or a video on, where he describes the story of the Bible and the kind of symbol of history as one of God in search of man to create a world of beauty, truth, goodness, love, justice, compassion, and flourishing. So this is our task on earth, that we have this meta-language, we have the logos, we have the principle of creation which calls us forward, and this is, the logico-geometric structure. The closest we'll get to that with our, human cognition is actually the CTMU. So our task on earth is to actualize our telos, our purpose, which is determined by the logos here on earth, that it might become heaven. We don't want to be beamed up to heaven. We want heaven to come back down to earth. So, that the light shineth forth in the darkness. May our Lord never forsake us. Like and subscribe. Peace.